Happy Sunday, everybody.
Happy Sunday.
Hello.
Happy Sunday, y'all.
No, this
Happy
isn't the voice.
Sunday.
I know this isn't the voice you guys are used to.
Yo,
But I'm gonna be hosting the class for tonight. And Jess will be back with you guys next week. So just bear with me for tonight.
Brother Omar, peace to you.
How we doing? Peace to you, my brother. Peace to you. I call this Sunday Money Day. I'm sorry, Sunday Money Day, because today is definitely a good day for anybody who wants to be in the market. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna go over two pairs that I have that are possibly going to play out. I did have a pair that was ready, but it already played out. We will go over that pair, and I will explain to you guys the setup so you guys can see. This is going to be a short class. I will open up the end to a few questions, not too many because I do have something to do in a little bit, but I try to get to as many of you guys as possible. I know there is a YouTube channel, so anybody on the YouTube channel, ask your questions. I'll try to remember to get back around to you guys. And then if you have a question, just come up and ask me, but kind of be respectful at the same time of each other. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and share my, before I do that, let me log into YouTube so I can look at you guys. Ask your questions. I'll try to remember to get down to you. All right. So we're good to go. Let's get the ball rolling. So for today, well, upcoming week, I'm going to talk about which one played out already. GJ. I don't know if anybody's in the league group, but I believe I've seen somebody with the same setup as me. But GJ already played out. We had a beautiful gap on GJ. If you draw your fib from point A to point B, it already hit our 0%, which is an indication that it is going to hit towards a negative 27%, which lines up perfectly with this area of resistance, which is going to come to support, which turn resistance now. So I'm looking for this trade to continue to play out. We can get one more push up, which is possible. If it does happen to push up, then I'll definitely get into this sell again, which is basically going to be a retest of this trend line. We had a beautiful break of structure, then a break of retest of the trend line, then a continuation for the sell. Now this did gap up, and when this happened, I already had my alert set, so I already had an alert. I was anticipating for price, of course, to make higher highs and come to this area, but the market, of course, had its own little thing it wanted to do, its own agenda, so it decided to gap up. And with gaps, most gaps usually close. So if you were smart, not even say it's smart, if you were a well-seasoned trader, you would have known to get in for this sell with an indication of wick exhaustion for a beautiful, give me a second. We are already 57 pips in profit. So what you want to wait for is a pullback. If it's going to pull back, it'll pull back up to the trend line for another sell-off. If not, the trade has already did what it needs to do. So just, let it be. And we'll get into another one. It's only Sunday. The market hasn't even started to play out yet. So just give it time. But GJ is a perfect example of what Jess teaches you with the impulse correction of the trend lines. Then you'll break your retest. You have a beautiful retest and then a sell. This just happened, a gap this week. Things happen. But once you're used to seeing the trades and how they play out consistently every week, you would have known to get in for this sell. Even though it is 5 o'clock on a Sunday. We're gonna go over gold because I know people love gold. Gold for this week, I see gold overall continue to make this low. It has a potential. It's already at this area kind of, but I need it to come down a little more. Once it gets to this area, I'm going to draw my trend line and we'll see if I can find a break and recess of a trend line and other structures. But until then, gold is still setting up. I don't have gold at this area yet, so I'm not going to touch it yet, even though it looks close. This is one of the few things that I've learned with the market. Things can look like they're not. like false gold, that's crazy how I'm talking about false gold and we're looking on gold. But anyways, false gold, you might think it's at an area and it's truly not. So we want price to continue to fall a little further. And then we can go in and draw trend lines and wait for the break of structure to go in for that buy. Draw your fib from A to B, and then you go from there. But I don't see gold where I need it to be yet. So I need gold to fall a little further. And if gold does happen to break the structure, then we have other structures where gold can possibly pull down to get in for that potential buy. Overall, I do see a sell, but I don't have a break of structure completely yet. So we're kind of in a buy, but structure on different structures. Structure on different time frames definitely play a key role into how I'm looking at the market and telling you what I see overall. So we just have to kind of wait for a few things to happen. And then we'll go from there. All right. But I do need price to push down a little further in order for me to get a bias of to what I'm going to do next. But that's the next. So what I do now is I set an alert here. Once this alert gets set, then I'll go back in and I'll come in and be like, okay, now I can look at the market and see what I need to see for my setup. Now we're going to go on to G, I do apologize. GU, same thing. So GU has hit the structure. So it has come down to this level of, which is now support. So I have GU on this area of support. I want price to break out of this trend line. Once price breaks out of the trend line, then I'll look and see what I need to see. But once again, price can kind of push up, play between this area, push back up to this, give us a third trend line bounce, and then drop, then push out and come up. There are so many scenarios that can happen between now and then. This is why we never force a trade. Me, I wait for the trade to come to me. I will never run for a trade. I never will, never am. It's just what it is. I literally sit back. I have certain rules I have set. And once they do X, Y, and Z, then I pull the trigger. But me, I know that this may seem like a far jump, but that's okay. Give the market room to breathe. The market needs to breathe. And the more room you get to breathe, the more you can see it for what it truly is, right? So we have a few scenarios. Price can either push up to this area, pull back. I expect it to come to this area possibly, if not this high, pull back down, or it can just shoot up and come back down. Or it cannot even respect this and respect overall structure, push below, come back up, give us a whole new entry point. If you're following me, you're following me. If you're not, keep learning. You'll get what I'm saying. All right, push completely down, pull back up, give us a whole new entry point for a continuation of GU. Now I'm going to give you the overall structure in which I see. We do have an overall, I see that I have this big fib on here. So I know this looks confusing. I know this looks congested, and I do apologize for anybody who's new to this. You'll get to a point where this is nothing to you. It's just like regular. All right. I do apologize for the mess, but it's going to be a mess right now. Overall, I have an overall sell. I'm looking at this bigger fib right here. So this is the overall sell that I seen on the 1 hour, but I had to go higher to show you guys. But I can just see it. Now I just see it. Like it's like second nature. It's like tying your shoe or brushing your teeth. You don't even need to think about it. You just, I see what I see, and it is what it is. All right. So that's the overall long-term picture we have. And it kind of coordinates with the news because, you have this news of the dollar falling and X, Y, and Z. So you can kind of predict that the United States is supposedly going to go into recession sooner or later. So the overall sell, but buy is interesting. There's a lot going on, but we'll see what's going to happen. All right. But I do expect the United States dollar to get strong within the next few months. And then potentially drop, because I know Powell is supposed to raise the interest rates one more time. And they're expecting a pop of some sort. So hopefully by then it'll hit us target mark and then it'll go back up. That's just what I'm predicting. I'm adding my news together with my strategy and structure to kind of give an overall bias of what I'm going to see. But that's what we have for the week. You guys can come off mute and ask the question if you want to go repair that you feel comfortable with. We can do that, and then we'll move from there.
So I have a quick question. Hello.
How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm listening.
Nice to hear from you again. Can I know you're on GU right now. Can we go back to GU? Yeah, please. So I was marking up my GU, and I was looking at 4 hours.
Okay.
I was waiting for it to go down, right? But it kept going up and up and up. Like, so I felt like I kept hitting my stop loss at the top. Do you know why? I felt like I saw break and retest. I don't
On
know if
your
you felt that way.
4 hour, you're talking, right? So you trade on the higher
Yes,
time
4
frame, I'm
hours.
guessing. Okay. Structure.
No, so I took my trade on like 15 minutes, but I
Okay.
marked it up, break and retest, right? So I was expecting it to come down because on the higher time frame, it was like descending chart, exhaustion, everything, right? So
Is this the trend line you're going from?
yes, sir.
Oh, I kind of see where you're at. I already, as a trader who's well seasoned, I already can see where your mistakes are or your mistakes aren't prior to us even talking to certain things. Because I can see what's wrong before I can see what's right. The more you do this, I'm gonna say this before I answer your question. The more you do this, the reason why the few of us are such great traders is because we know what's wrong as well as know what's right, right? Because you have to understand what's wrong in order for you to know what's right. And we've gone through the charts and we've seen the charts well enough to know, okay, this isn't what we need, but this is exactly what it's supposed to be. So I can already go in and predict where you're wrong and where you're right at prior to even speaking, because I can understand how the market kind of throw you off because I've been in your same shoes. I've been in that boat where like, what the heck is going on? I think I'm doing this right and it's not working out. All right. So let's talk about the impulse correction impulse. You have multiple touches. I'm going to go with, let's clear this out real quick and let's talk about it because you said you went on your 15. We have this, and being precise also makes a difference as well. I'm going to ask you, did you enter here? Do you remember? Because if you enter here, you shouldn't be in a drawdown. If your sale was right, I can already tell by not even drawing a fib that this is the perfect entry for you, right? So that means you must have done something. Yeah, you had to be off because this is the only entry point I see. Even having a semi autocorrect markup without me being perfect with my trend lines, just seeing how structure is flowing. This circled area is my only sell, and even without drawing my fib, I can tell that TP was hit down here. You understand? So if isn't like this, then you did something completely wrong. We'll go in from there. Now another trend line possibility could have been here, right? But we don't have a break and retest. I can see that clear as day. There's no break and retest clear. So I wouldn't have. Hold on, let me look again. Because I could have been misspoken. You know, I am human. Give me 1 second.
No worries. Take your time.
No,
please.
I don't see. We're gonna go down. So let's clear this annotation. So that first bigger structure, as you can tell, even on a bigger structure, if you know what you're looking for, structure is going to play out regardless, right? Even on the 4 hour, we did drawing a regular trend line. You see that we had a perfect break and retest. If you follow your truths, you understand what's going on. All right. The annotation. And you said you went to the 4 hour. Let's bring all this back. I know it's going to be hectic for you guys, and I do apologize. I'll try to delete it, but it's needed at the moment. So you said you went to the 4 hour and you drew a trend line. We can say this one, right?
Then I went to the 1 hour before going to 30 and 15 minutes to enter.
Okay. And I think the best way to learn is by understanding your mistakes.
Okay.
So even before I draw my trend line, I'm going to make it a different color just to help you guys. Hopefully you can see through the mess. I'm sorry. We have a touchdown here. We have a touch here, a touch here, and we have a touch here. So this is a strong trend line, right? I would take this trend line over everything else, right? Because I have multiple touches on my trend line. I don't see a break and retest of a trend line. So I don't understand where you would get in that at this moment. You understand? Like even before me even going down to a smaller structure, there's no clear indication that we have a break and retest of a trend line for you to think, okay, I'm okay with getting into this trade. All right. But I'm going to go down to a smaller time frame to just maybe see what you possibly have seen, because I've been there before. All right. So I understand. So on a smaller time frame, the only possibility I can see is you might have gotten in here, which was, hold on. What day was this? This was Friday, the 24th. Today is April 2nd. So is this your potential entry? but you would have hit TP, so that's not your entry. So I'm not understanding. You get what I'm saying? I'm not trying to say you are wrong, but I'm not trying to discredit your trading, but I'm trying to talk you through, okay, what is your mind telling you as you're going through these trades? You understand, like, where's your mindset at? How are you talking to yourself as you're talking, as you're marking up these charts? As you see how I talk to myself, I make sure I answer certain questions, and I'm like, okay, this is this isn't this, right? So can you tell me where you entered?
So I entered Tuesday. So where you have right now marked up, I was thinking, I was looking at more like a lot of buying exhaustion. I pulled the golden trend line closer to, because of like the exhaustion, buying exhaustion on I think on the between 23rd and 24th. It kind of down, so it wasn't on the left side, it was more on the right side.
I'm gonna cut you off. I don't want you to get far from your mistake. So your mistake was you told me that you pulled your trend line closer. That means you wanted something to be what it's not. All right. And that's probably your biggest mistake. I'm gonna say mistake, or your biggest problem is you're trying to make the trends in the line something they're not. Something I went through as well. I'm trying to make the market work for me when I need to work for the market. All right.
Gotcha.
All righty. I see somebody had their hand raised. Give me a second. Raise their hand. I don't want to mess your name up.
So one more question. So there was no break and retest. Is that what you're saying?
No,
so that happens sometimes.
There was a smaller break and retest in my hair, which would have gave you a beautiful fib, which is a perfect impulse correction impulse. I don't want to go into that, but this is the only trade that I've seen that can potentially have been your break and retest, but that hit TP, so that's not even, wouldn't have been a problem for you.
Okay.
All right.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
No problem at all. Shamar, I see your hand is raised. I think that's how you say that.
Yeah, you got it, bro.
All right. How you doing today, man?
I'm good, bro. How you doing?
I'm pretty well.
Just kind of getting your analysis to piggyback off GU off the 4 hour. I know you have your major structure on Fibonacci going down.
Right.
And currently, we have a double bottom that happened. So that's not, to me, I didn't think it was a showing a break of structure yet for us to be going to TP1. So
towards your 4 hour?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's
so
talk
like how would you know that it would be trying to go to TP1, or if because we're in consolidation right now?
Well, for one, we're on this purple. I got you. For one, we're on this purple area, right? So my purple areas are my bigger structures. I use purple for my higher structures and then my entry points as well. So that purple might confuse you, but I'm gonna tell you how it runs on my chart, right? So my weekly is my higher area of resistance. We understand that when price comes to a bigger structure, bigger structure of support and resistance on a higher time frame, it's gonna stick around there for some time, right? Do you understand that, right? So I understand that I'm on this purple area right now. We pushed down, pushed away. I'm expecting price to push back down. Price did do a double bottom, which is cool, but at the same time, it's still considered consolidation. So we can consolidate here for as long as it wants to. It doesn't have to just push right away. All right. And then I'll go down on my smaller time frame, which is my 1 hour, and I have a trend line that has broken in structure as well, which indicates, okay, I can have a potential push down. Now, can it not play out? Yeah. More than likely, no, you understand. But at the same time, this is my thought process as to why I have my Fibonacci in a sell. Okay.
Gotcha.
Now, overall, this bigger structure, and I don't have a fit from here because we pushed away out of structure. So once I have a push away from a resistance support, I don't draw a fib from that low. You understand? Like this could be a fib all day, every day.
Yeah,
but it came out and then it pushed back up. That's too far away from resistance support. It broke structure completely. So I needed to reform its structure overall. But this one is this is not good for me. I don't like the way this set up. Okay. That's just, I've done this long enough to just know certain things. You understand? Like it's just not for me. All right. I would rather take
what it is that you don't like about it.
The way it pushed away, it just pushed down and took time to come back inside of this price. Now, can it push up and make higher highs? Yeah, but I would rather it, for example, I'd rather make lower lows here, then draw a trend line on this one and wait for this push up. You understand? So I'd rather catch this sell this buy than rather take it off of this push up. It just comes from experience. That's just what I've seen from the long run. I've been doing it for 6 years. And I'm a safe trader. You understand? Like, I see how it is potentially a possibility. 100%. I get where you're at. I see it. It's just not for me. Okay. It's just not.
I've been expecting that sell too. For the longest time. Of course, we're near that weekly foundation level, but it's just that I've been getting caught up in, those pullbacks for those buys that it hit my stop loss. So I'm like, okay, maybe it might not go there. Maybe it might go up to, say, retest your red trend line that you have. I guess maybe that's a monthly level. So
but
I'm
gonna say that them are bigger trend lines, so it's gonna take time to get there. So you can be so stuck in that bigger structure that you're like, dang, it's gonna do this X, Y, and Z. But what that smaller structure is telling you, if you know exactly what you're doing, it's going to hit your smaller structures and then go towards your bigger structures. See, if we clear this out, let's get rid of a lot of the noise. We're in consolidation, right? Pure consolidation. Wow, that was horrible. Right? We're in a consolidation period all day, every day. Right. So price, I'm expecting to, and price, what price can do is price can do a fake out, push towards my TP and then come back up. You understand?
Yeah.
Pure as day. That's what I'm honestly anticipating. A little fake out, push below, push back up, and then continue making higher highs from what I've seen on my 1 hour trend line. And more than likely, that's what it's going to do. But I do see this happening. And what I'm saying to you is on your bigger structure, because it's going to form these lower lows, right? You can wait for this trend line to break. And then when it pushes down, it's going to fake you out. So then it's going to come back up again, which is cool. And then it has to push down again. Then you can wait for this lower low to happen, blah, blah, blah. Then you can get in for this overall push up towards that bigger time frame. All right. But once again, these are just predictions. I don't know if it's going to happen like this, but just understand your higher highs and lower lows have to play out. That's how the market runs. All right.
Gotcha. I'm just trying to, with me right now, I'm just trying to use the higher time frame because it's that's what's gonna play out more than the lower time frames, and using that to kind of take my trades in the lower time frame, like try to trade with the with the trend.
Right. And that's understandable. I get that completely. You're on the right track. Just understand the different time frames, but you have to look at and understand where you're at all times. Like on this higher time frame, you're right. And then on your lower time frame, you just have to know where you're at. Like, but it takes time. Like it took me time to get that together. Like, I'm not gonna lie. At first, I was like, I don't know what the heck's going on. But then as you do it consistently every day, it just starts working, and you start seeing it for what it truly is. All right.
Gotcha. Appreciate it.
I had a question about that.
Yes. Who asked the question? And then after that, Anthony has his hand up, so I'm going to answer Anthony's question.
Okay.
Go ahead. Hello? All right, Anthony, go ahead, ask your question.
Hey, what's up, Omar? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you doing today, Anthony?
I'm doing all right. Hopefully everyone's doing good. So my bias is the same that you have on GU, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I remember you saying that you only trade at a certain hour. And then my question to you is going to be, what if the setup gets ready? Like you see how it's pushing up. What if it goes to a nice entry point and you have your confirmations? Would you answer even though we're on like a Tokyo session, or if we're not into like New York session?
I understand. I'm going to say this to you. I started trading because I didn't want to be my computer all day. I'm a get up and get going type of person. I can't work a 9 to 5. I know that's in my blood. I've tried everything. I've done everything. And I just know who I am as a person, right? So even with trading, I don't want to be on this darn computer all day. I refuse to. That's not my life, right? Yeah. So I make it like a job, even though I don't want a job. So between 7 and 10, I'm glued to this computer. Now, if I happen to set an alert, for example,
okay,
I was kind of like going off the path, but I'm gonna bring it back around, right? So for example, today, I had an alert set for here, right? And I wasn't anticipating this gap. I don't think anybody was anticipating this drawing gap. I'm thinking, okay, by the time the market opens, by 7 o'clock, it'll be done pushed back up to this area. Even I had this pre-trend line drawing, this anticipating another sell, break and retest, but that didn't happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, I had an alert set here. But just prior to me knowing market structure and how it's going to set up, what's going to happen, and and it happened to come at 5 o'clock. Now my alert was on, and I was next to my phone or next to my computer. I did take that sell. But if I'm not by my computer, or it's a time frame where I'm not really paying attention to the market, and I don't have alert set, I'm not touching the charts. So no. But I do take trades outside of my time frame, but it's not always consistent. Like, for example, sometimes trades play out for London session and I'm knocked out and I'm not waking up for London session. I miss a lot of trades during London that have perfect setups, but I don't care because I catch what I need to catch during my New York session. All right. Like, if you set your time, you'll catch, if you go to the same fishing hole every day at the same time, more than likely you'll catch a fish that you need to catch. You understand? Like, you're consistent. Once again, consistency will get you further than anything in this lifetime. Like me, I was trying to wake up during London, go to sleep, wake up during New York. It was just too much for me. Like, I couldn't keep myself together. So I had to, like, okay, be smart, Omar. Treat it like a job. Go your ass to sleep. Excuse my French. Wake your ass up at 9. I'm at 7 o'clock. 6:30. I'm sorry, 6:30, and get your behind up. Go brush your teeth, drink your coffee, get ready for work. All right. I was so stuck into the habits of I didn't want to work that I really needed to treat this like a job, and then it started playing out for me the right way. All right.
Yeah,
I hope
that
that
makes
answers your
sense.
question. Got you. I think I don't want to pronounce. I'm gonna take a last name. I will DOE Doe. I think that's you.
Yes,
I do
indeed.
apologize.
Didi though. Yeah.
Okay. Didi Doe. How are we doing today?
Good. How about yourself?
Doing pretty well.
Hopefully everyone is doing well as well. And thank you for taking my question.
No
Um,
problem.
I joined in at I joined in at 35. So I'm not sure if you went over EU. But I just wanted to maybe show my markups if that's possible.
For
Or
EU,
yes.
what are you looking for EU?
So basically my question is I marked up and everything is playing out exactly how as it should, but my trouble is the entries. It's like I did a smaller fib from the top from where you see your 100 at the second the double the from the 0 to the 100 the second point, and then everything is marking out, and I even got to the take profit 61, but it's like, where do you get in? Like, I didn't want to go in too early, but then and then it's an overall sale for the higher time frame. But my biggest thing is the markups for, like, where do I get in at? That's my biggest thing. Like, I'm missing a trade. I'm seeing it play out. Yeah.
Well, to be honest with you, this is a trade. It's not ready as far as break and retest, right? So we need this one to retest. This is a perfect setup. I don't know why I didn't go over EU, but EU is perfect right now. All you need is a retest of this trend line, and EU is ready for a sell. All right. This is the perfect structure. We know price has to come up. Once you get this retest, you didn't miss it yet. You're kind of probably like thinking, am I going to miss it? I'm going to miss it. I want to catch it from the top. Catch it from where it gives it to you, not from where you want it to be. All right. I know most people want to catch it from the top. Me, I have it set to where I only need 36 pips a week. And I've hit my target for the week. Only need 36. We catch 100 to 500, 700 pips a week in this strategy. Only need 36. All right. So don't stress about being perfect at the top. Wait for it to come. Once again, do what it needs to do. Break, retest. This is a perfect retest right here. This is going to pull up and then go for your sell. All right. You didn't miss it yet.
Yeah. Thank you.
No problem at all. These names are going. Ooh, I'm bad with names. I'm horrible with names. All right, we have a guy named.
Don't even worry about it.
I appreciate it. See, you see me struggling. I appreciate you, brother.
Spend my life, no worries. All right, so actually I had a question, but it's funny because with that last question, it sort of adds on to the question. So going back to GJ, right? I think, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people on the call that are similar, that I feel like I'm at a good spot where at least now my markups for the most part are hitting, right? So it's telling me I'm seeing the market. But to the last person's question, I'm still fine tuning entries and also my stop losses, right? So I got the same, like I was waiting for the same play that you were waiting for, right? And then the market gapped up. And I had a zone there. My trend line, I didn't have it drawn exactly the same way, but I did have a zone at that exact spot. But the problem is I'm also, because I've been second guessing, I was waiting for like wick exhaustion. I was waiting for candles to play out, and it didn't really play out. It just went. And you said you just entered, right? So my question is, are there times where you are waiting for the candles to sort of give you that extra confirmation, or are you just jumping in on that retest? Especially now tying back to the last question, because the last question, even though it was on EU, you mentioned that for EU, we're still gonna most likely come up to retest that trend line. But the funny thing is, on my EU, I have a zone before that trend line. So now it's sort of like the similar question. Do I wait for the candles to tell me it's ready, or do I just jump in? Because technically price could go further, right?
See, zones are tricky, and this is where, okay, so I'm gonna answer one question at a time. Your candlesticks, I waited for exhaustion. We had exhaustion on the 30-minute. There was exhaustion candlestick here, got in right away. All right, even though this pushed up, this gap was crazy, it exhausted out. It gave me exhaustion completely. So it's the perfect entry for my trend, my entry. So it gave me what I needed to have, right? And they were on this trend line as well. So exhaustion is there. Got in for the sell. I'm still in profit right now, hovering. So that should have answered that question. Now, with E, I believe you asked me 2 questions. EU.
Yeah.
I know. Give me a second. So with EU, you have zones. See, zones are tricky. Zones can be moved in and out like what's something that slides. Your zones matter, but you can move your, I won't say move your zones. I mean, that's what they do. They can be
you're right.
pushed and pulled as you need them to. So you can pull one here, and if it doesn't respect it, pull it back. You understand? That's a trick right there. That's a mother gem. But anyways, push and pull as you need them. All right. Basically, that's what it is. You might have one there, and it just wasn't respected, so therefore it's no longer needed. So get rid of it.
So essentially, it sounds like you're saying if you're going to try to play the zones, that it's more important that you're watching. Like, it's definitely important that you're watching the candles and the wick exhaustion. Even though you're saying on GJ you saw the wick exhaustion you needed regardless, but it's especially important on a zone because zones can be respected or they cannot be. They're a little bit more flexible than trend lines. Is that what you're saying?
Sound like you got it. Go ahead and practice and see if it works out for you.
Appreciate you.
All right. So one question, I got to answer this for automated course students. Your monthly checkup is tomorrow. All right. Just a little reminder for you guys. I'm gonna take, how many more y'all got questions? All right, I have to see 2 hands. I'm gonna take 2 more questions and I'm done. All right. I believe my brother with the FOREX thing behind you.
Yeah, you just said what I needed. I just want to make sure the announcement is made for tomorrow. That's all. Thanks.
Oh, okay, perfect. And then I have iPhone has your hand up.
Yes. Hi. Thanks for taking my question. I was trying to find
I'm sorry, give me a second.
Example. But I don't know if sometimes for you, I think I'm getting mixed up on structure. So sometimes it'll be like my major structure saying one thing, but when I go down to minor structure, there's still a lot of room to move.
Okay.
And so I'm just wondering if that's what I should be prioritizing on the
major structure, minor structure, and you need to move. Okay, so let's get into it real quick because that's a key. Major structure, minor structure is definitely the bread and butter of trading, right? So understanding where you're at all times. I know Jessica has drilled this into you guys' head. So I'm gonna try to do the best I can to try to explain it to you in my words, and hopefully that helps you get to the point of view understanding and having a better grasp on it, right? So time frames are used to identify structure, right? So different time frames can show you a different structure, and at the same time, 2 time frames that are close together can show you the exact same structure, just different candlestick, the amount of candlesticks are different on each time frame, right? So you can be on your 1 hour and 30, and you can see the exact same structure. One that just has more candlesticks and gives you maybe a bigger consolidation area, and then one may have a tighter consolidation area on your time frame. So you just have to take your time and learn how to view your time frames and how to understand that. Before I keep going, did you take her course?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so you understand homework assignment number 2, correct?
Yes.
All right. So you understand that 4, 1, 30, how they layer each other, I believe. Okay. So impulse correction, impulse, or impulse consolidation, impulse, they're all the same. It's just on different time frames of how they coordinate with each other. Now, how long have you been trading?
Started learning in like 2020, but took the course in November. So started over basically.
Oh, you're new. You're new. Okay. So yeah, just give it time. And I was gonna go deep into it, but at the same time, just give it time. I know you're ready to let yourself free, but you got to give yourself time to get used to what you're seeing. That's all it is. If you just take your time and be consistent with the market, and wake up every day and don't slack, even if you have a day of slacking, like the next day, make sure you don't slack. Get right back on it. That's how I learned. I woke up every day and was on these charts. I started trading right before the pandemic happened, so I had no choice but to sit my behind in the house and learn. You understand? Like I couldn't go nowhere. I can go outside, so I had to like double down. I had nothing else to do. I wasn't going to sit around here all day and be bored. So I kind of got lucky in a sense where God was like, I'm gonna sit your behind down and you're gonna learn this. And that's what happened to me. So what I need to tell you is just sit down and take your time. When it give it some time to manifest, and you'll be able to see the structure. If you understand homework assignment number 2, what I did was I constantly did my charts, and I just did that consistently over and over again. And it helps you to see the flow of the market. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Did I answer your question, or do you want a little more detail?
More detail.
Oh, I was just curious. You said
Somebody spoke for you already. Somebody already spoke.
I was like, go deep, go deep.
Ain't got time for it. Hold on. All right. So I can go over this one more time and then I'm done. Get on this call. She already talked about it. I want to make sure I don't answer any important questions because I know when I was trading, I needed help like a mug. But all I had was myself and them videos and a grandmother who told me life ain't fair, suck it up, figure it out. So let's talk about structure. All right. In any market, you have an impulse correction impulse. So that's all structure is. Basic impulse correction impulses, higher highs being made or lower lows being made. I'm going to delete this just so it's not confusing, right? So we have structures and structure. The problem with structure is structure not going to be the same way every single time. There's a few ways to structure. You can have a strong impulse, strong pullback, strong impulse, which you see here, or you can have smaller, right? We have a strong impulse, or you can have more calm, collective impulse correction impulses, right? So just understand that this happens on all time frames, right? So once you understand that, then you'll be able to go on different time frames and you'll be able to see the same exact thing on all time frames, no matter where you go. But you just have to be able to understand. This is why we color coordinate things, because you have to be able to understand what time frame you're on at what time, right? So the reason I can look at my screen and be on a 1 hour and see a 4 hour Fibonacci is because I understand structure even without having time coordinates, because I've been doing it for so long, right? But you need multiple impulse correction impulses to identify multiple structures. So I can have one here. Oh shit, I'm sorry. I can have one. There's not things in my way. I can have a structure here. I can't use that one. I can have one here, right, on this bigger time frame. But if I go down to my smaller time frame, I also have a small one here, right? So it's about knowing where you're at all times, because you can see a smaller structure on a bigger structure. It's so much information. Like, I don't know how to put it to you guys. It's like you just know. For example, you have this impulse correction impulse, but inside, once again, you have this smaller impulse correction impulse, which can lead to this impulse correction impulse, right? But once again, none of them broke a structure, so therefore you would never go for a buy, right? So just because you have multiple impulse correction impulses inside of a structure, you're still waiting for confirmation as far as your break and retest before you even get in for a buy, right? So once you clear it out your head that you need to be into every trade, and know that every trend line isn't going to work out as far as structure, you tend to wait for your other confirmations to back up that trend line, all right? Because the market doesn't want you to win, all right? I hope that cleared up enough for you guys.
Omar,
Yes, my brother.
I'm sorry, man. I know you're trying to get out of here, but one more
You're
real
good.
quick. One
What's
more
going
real
on?
quick. EU. Question. I got the same markup you got on EU. I got on GU.
Okay.
With the trend line coming from the bottom to the top.
You said EU. I'm sorry, give me a second. You said EU, correct?
Nah, I got the same markup for GU that you have on EU.
Okay. You have the same, and that's probably more than likely possible.
And you said it was kind of like ready after that thing retests, but you don't have the same markup right there.
You looking at this one right here. I know exactly what you're looking at right here.
Yeah.
Sometimes I miss, and I haven't marked up yet either. So
Oh, okay. All right.
I know exactly what you're looking at.
Yeah, right there.
Right here. Yeah.
All we waiting for was the retest of that yellow line.
That already broken retested, brother. Let me see. That's close.
Waiting for the retest right there.
It could push up again. Yeah, I see exactly where you're at. Now do I have an area I'm at comfortably? Yeah, that's a great trade right there. That's a great trade.
I just wanted to
I'm done for the week. I didn't call my trade for the week. So sometimes I'll be missing trades because it's just like I'm not saying I don't care for certain trades, but once you make your money for the week, you kind of just like, all right, I don't have to do too much anymore. You understand?
Yeah,
but you see the multiple setups. Like even I missed this setup, but I'm okay with that. And that's okay.
But once that comes back and retests, it's going to go back down for the sell.
Yeah, let me look at overall structure real quick to get an idea. That's beautiful. And that goes towards, yes, that lines up with our overall sell because we kind of want price to come back down. Yes, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful trade right there.
I just wanted to make sure I was correct. That's all.
Let me look one more. Yeah, that's beautiful.
So that kind of goes with the structure question I was asking. Like, you see how that minor structure played out right there and it came to support. How you know it's not done?
The minor? Which minor?
Yeah, like, because he's saying he's looking for the retest.
Right.
Yeah, I was just about to say that too, Mr. Omar.
So you're looking for the retest now. So now we expect price to push up, right?
Right.
Now we want price to push up.
Played out though. If you look right there, is that not the
this right
break
here?
and retest on 15 minutes? That's
how's your fib? Your fib didn't completely play out yet, so no.
Okay.
Your fib didn't give you 23% retracement. And I know Jess is going over that plenty of times. So no, we didn't have a full retracement of a 23%. So therefore that trade isn't ready. Even though it looks ready, once again, it's not ready. Trade what you see, not what you think, right? You might think it's ready, but it's not. If you just put your fib on there and do certain things, simple as that. You see, okay, it's not ready. It's not for me. Once again, I trade what's for me. I don't trade what I want. I trade what's for me. All right. And that wasn't for me. Now we know that it didn't set up. So therefore, we're expecting an impulse correction for this high, which is more than likely going to be a third trend line bounce for that continuation of that sell. All right. So now, beautiful. This is a beautiful trade. I like when I see beautiful trades that I miss. Because now I'm anticipating. I'm going to show you what I'm anticipating now. I'm about to get off this. I can talk for days, but I'm going to go over this and be done. All right. I'm expecting this to push up, possibly pull back down, possibly push up, pull back down to push up to this high potentially, right? This is about to be interesting. This is about to get real interesting. All right. So that's what I'm anticipating, right? Anticipating. But at the same time, we have this trend line. So price can push back down, right? Break here. You have a whole new fib. See, this is where trading gets fun, right? Then push back up, hit TP. Let me break this down for y'all. Then hit TP, give you another trend line bounce, right? Because it's all still same structure. We're still in this overall fib that you're talking about for this overall sell, right? So now this is the fib for a drop again. Oh, darn it. For a drop again, all right? I know that probably messed a few of your heads up, but that's just what it can be. Because I already have this trend line here that has full potential, right? I have this trend line here. Oh, darn it. I have this trend line here that has an impulse correction. We're at an area resistance. We know price needs to push back up, right? But at the same time, if price just shoots up and touches this area and it drops, we're good. But if this trend line breaks, it changes the whole entire dynamic of how I'm about to look at this trade, right? So this break is going to definitely determine if I'm going to get into a buy, even though I'm looking for a sell, or if I'm going to just get from the sell from the top of that. All right. So you see how I'm using my time frames, even though this is a higher time frame, I'm still on the smaller one looking at certain things for my break and retest. All right. But this it takes time to get there. Like you'll start seeing it clear there. Like I can kind of pre-predict how the market's going to move just by certain areas being touched and certain trend lines being broken. But that takes time, and it took a lot of damn time. All right. I'm gonna let you guys go. I hope everybody has a great Sunday. I wish blessings upon your life, blessings upon your finances. And remember, keep your mind clear. Go out, get some sun, get some air. Don't sit in the computer all day. And if you need a break, you think too much, step away and come back. It's like taking a test in school. I was always taught, if you don't know the answer, just go back to something else and come back to it later. It'll still be there. All right. Bless to you guys.
Bless up, Omar. Thanks.
Thanks, Omar.
Thank you.
Thanks, Omar.
Yeah, thanks, Omar.